Hello to everybody watching and listening, and welcome to a new game, FTL with the Multiverse mod. Now FTL is a absolutely amazing, wonderful roguelike game from, if I'm not mistaken, 2012. The Multiverse mod here, I think it's the most recent version from, a couple of days or weeks ago, I'm not too sure, but it's basically cutting edge. This is absolutely amazing. FTL is amazing. The Multiverse mod, which effectively is a total overhaul of the game that adds insane amounts of content, is super awesome as well. And if they are both installed and up and ready, then this should be super enjoyable no matter what happens. The game itself will unfold. I will, at the very first run, explain a couple of mechanics and make this a bit more beginner friendly in the event somebody listens who hasn't seen FTL at all. That said, many of these mechanics, they have a lot of small nuances to them that we will simply be getting to know, that I will be getting to know as well. Because I don't know everything about this game. I've played it quite a bit, but let's be honest, just looking at the list of ships, and you can see that if you spend maybe a couple hundred hours, you basically have the gist of it. Kind of feels like Warframe, to be honest. You can almost never be done with everything. I assume there's a lot of other MMOs and other games like that. But this is not an MMO, this is a roguelike. The meta progression is, as far as I can tell, almost entirely these ships here and achievements and all that sort of stuff. This is our first starter ship, the only thing we can choose right now, the Superliminal. And our crew here, we have a basic human, sort of jack of all trades, master of none. Slight resistance to environment damage, slightly faster skill improvement, and that's about it. We have Stormbringer. The human is Pomeron. Stormbringer is our orchid floral. The florals are basically a plant species, mostly pacifist in nature. They can refill our oxygen, which means we can save some power, because at the start, at least, if we don't need it, we can unpower our O2 system. They take more fire damage because they're plants, and I think the floral subvariant of the orchids, it buffs the crew with additional health, repair speed, and heal speed. And last but not least, we have Mallet, the Separatist Engi. Separatist Engis are a subfaction of the Engi themselves. They are machine life forms, more or less, and they can repair extremely well. They also take less combat damage, and this active ability makes them able to ignore a whole bunch of stuff, such as doors, mind control, and, also healing. They can't be healed in that state. They can also not fight or do repairs, so it's basically a tank and survival mode that we can use here for our Engi. We also have an advanced navigator, which reveals details about the beacons that we are able to jump to, that are within range. We have two weapons, a burst laser, which fires just normal laser shots and has a small fire chance, and we have a pierce laser, which is a lot more power hungry. It also charges a slight bit slower, but it has 10% accuracy bonus, and it can do breach at a moderate chance. Also fires 2 shots. The rest of these mechanics, I think they are long to explain, but very quick to get once you start playing. I will be playing on normal, but I will be playing with a bit of a twist. I will deliberately and quite literally go out of my way to do the good guy thing wherever possible. I will try to influence the galaxy in a positive way wherever the chance is, whether that is going out of my way for some kind of distress beacon, even if it's a pirate trap. I will try to go there. I will deliberately choose not to attack civilians, not to attack innocents, not to exploit them in any way wherever it is possible, and all that sort of stuff. I will, however, bring down the full fury of my weapons upon pirates and other enemies. Whatever may happen, I will take the surrender if they want to surrender, so long as they don't deliberately try to attack the next target and just want me off their backs with a bribe. And all that sort of stuff. Let's see what happens. Let's continue. You take a look at the distant stars, distant swirls of space as the stars fly past. This is the beginning of the next chapter in your saga. What will await you next? We get a bit of fuel and scrap. Scrap effectively is money. We can't configure the challenge level until we get to Sector 8. Before your mission begins, it might be time to prepare before you arrive at the warp bay. What would you like to do? We can proceed with our mission, or we can download the Federation database entries. This is basically the intro to the story, so I will read it. You've downloaded the database, which will now grant you the opportunity to read about various factions, individuals, or locations. This provides no physical benefit, but will help guide you on your path to success in your journey. We'll also provide detailed tutorials on the new mechanics, such as the Atlas or internal upgrades. So let's read the main story. You, the captain, are now a central part of the largest known conflict in not just the galaxy, but the multiverse itself. After the conclusion of the original Federation Civil War in Universe 0, that is to say, basically after the vanilla game, your home reality, the Galactic Federation defeated Admiral Vance and the Rebellion, securing their control over the galaxy. The Federation struggled with various other conflicts, most notably a Cold War between the dangerous coalition alliance endorsed by the Slug Kleptocracy, Mantis Hive, Rock Theocracy, and Urgan Republic. This conflict finally escalated into the invasion of Aquarian territory, resulting in heavy losses. After the Coalition's attack temporarily destabilized the Federation once again, Vance ran a covert operation from the Rebel stronghold to attempt to salvage the heavily protected ancient ruins that the Coalition had been seeking as well. Though the full details are unknown, it is believed that among these ruins, Vance's team salvaged the first multiverse drive, which he would reverse engineer and install on the remaining Rebel fleet. After a Federation raid on the Rebel stronghold, Vance and his men fled to Universe 1 and allied with the rebellion of that reality to overthrow the Federation. Universe 1 now acts as the center of the interdimensional Rebels operation, or Rebellion's operations, while Universe 0 leads the counterattack. Fruitless as it might be, both sides are now locked into a seemingly unending conflict, invading realities to secure the strength and survival of their own faction. Make no mistake, though the rebellion continues to perpetuate their title of a brave uprising, the rebellion is well beyond a simple insurrection. Though intel is sparse, it would appear Universe 1 has been transformed into a desolate industrial dystopia, fueling the eternal gears of war that seek nothing less than the total annihilation of the Federation and all non-human species. The whereabouts of U-0 Vance are currently unknown, though sightings of suspicious movements of the privately trained MFK Ace Corps, undyingly loyal to Vance Prime, have been seen all around the multiverse. The MFK Aces will likely prove to be your greatest threat, along with the powerful redesigned flagship model dispatched to this reality to destroy the Federation base and secure a Rebel victory. This is where you get involved. As a renegade hired by the Federation, your goal is simple: destroy the flagship, and it is highly unlikely the Rebellion will be willing to dedicate any further efforts to capturing this reality. It is far more practical for them to divert the remaining Rebel forces to a different reality. If you fail, it is certain the Federation of this reality will fall, and this will become just another piece in the Rebels' arsenal of enslaved realities. So this is our basic story. Right here, we are in the midst of an interdimensional war where forces from both sides are invading, or at least traveling towards, in our case, to the different realities in order to strengthen their faction and, if possible, defeat the other faction. The Rebels are bringing a whole lot of forces in here. We have but one ship and a couple of supply depots and other assistance from our faction. Nothing too major though. The enemy is vastly superior and we cannot fight them head on at all. We can, however, use the Federation in this universe, and with our help, if we take out the enemy flagship, we will be able to defeat the Rebellion here. So let's proceed with our mission. We're about to arrive at the nearest Federation warp bay. These hangar-like structures act as beacons of sorts for traveling between universes. Let's hope you're given a nice warm welcome and not greeted by a fleet of angry rebels or pirates, right? Let's exit hyperspeed. You slowly exit hyperspeed, transitioning to a speed safe for landing, and steer closer to the hangar below. There your ship is stocked up and prepared to head out into this foreign galaxy. You hurry to your ship, but realize you still have a little time before you leave. You likely have time to grab one last thing. And here we can grab another weapon, find another crew member, grab some extra resources, or we're good with what we have and we can get a head start on the rebel fleet. Because basically the game is more or less turn-based. Every jump is a turn, no matter how long you spend at that beacon. And these turns are limited by the approaching rebel fleet. We will see that in a moment. I personally like to grab some extra resources. It's not much, but it's good. So finally suited up and ready to go, you take a look at your beacon map. Looks like you still have a while until the fleet becomes an immediate threat, so you can spare some time to do something on the ship if you wish. This is also something new. For example, here we can do a salvage operation, and we can only do this once per sector. We can just send out a team and we find nothing, unfortunate. But nothing that could be helped. In any case, it is time to continue on our journey, and this is not optimal. First thing we hit is a store. I like to take stores only when I actually have the money to do something at a store. A transmission from the nearby planet indicates an outpost below which offers supplies for travelers. We could attack, but I see no reason to attack. Let's shop. And here we could once again do something because we have time, but we've already salvaged and there's nothing more for us to do right now. Also, I don't want to sell anything, and there's nothing here that we could even buy that would be of any use. Actually, everything is too expensive other than, resources. This is fuel, number of missiles, and number of drones parts. Let's continue, and you can already see the rebel fleet approaching. I don't want to hit the next door as well, so let's just go here. A critically damaged carry ship is nearby. Scans show their life support is beyond non-functional and they won't live long. We can try to save the crew. It appears only one civilian survived the explosion. They are grateful for your help and offer to serve on your ship. That is the best possible outcome. I have been here many times and lost crew members. Now we have someone to stick on the shields. Now I can also reorganize power, and I can even put the power out of O2. You can see now it's declining, but if I simply open the internal doors, not the outside doors, the floral is going to replenish the O2 for free. So we can use that power for other purposes. The Cura, if I'm not mistaken, is something that forces you to make rather unethical choices, which is why I'm deliberately avoiding it. To your surprise, an Orchid ship is waiting for you here. Sure, they are a loyal part of the Federation, but the Florals typically prefer to keep to their own turf. What is this about? Let's wait for them to hail. An Orchid appears on the screen, gesturing with their hands in native Orchid sign language, which your translator converts into the actual audio. Hello, you must be Professor Orwell. We have reviewed the files you gave us, and we are most excited to share our scientific findings with you with the board. We have left a few annotated questions for your review, and we'll send them over along with payment shortly. I'm not Orwell. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Would you happen to know the location of the professor? I'm sorry, I don't know. Understandable. I appreciate your straightforwardness. Good day. The Orchid ship jumps away, but not before leaving you with a few fuel cells as a customary gift. We could have totally lied to that guy and gotten the scrap, but I don't like lying. Shouldn't do it. Not in games, certainly not in reality.